You are listening to episode 14 of the Aligned Actor podcast. Guys, this podcast episode is very different. First off, there's some background cat noise, so sorry. But that's not what makes it truly different. This episode is the first one that I've recorded that I didn't feel particularly inspired to record. The truth is that I haven't felt very inspired to record this podcast recently, but I had set a goal of doing about 2 a month, and we're already over halfway through October, so here we are. And I was feeling that like, ooh, I want to put something out there, but I don't know what to do, and I don't know what to do. What do I do? But in the end, it's kind of appropriate that I wasn't feeling inspired, because that's actually what I wanted to talk about today. Turn your weakness into a strength, right? I've been trying lately to only take actions in my career that I feel inspired to do and that I truly want to do. And I've been having a hard time reconciling that with my old beliefs about having to maintain the quote-unquote actor hustle. So we start to get into that idea today, and really this episode feels very vulnerable because it's not a fully fleshed out idea yet. I recorded this completely on the fly, off the fly, of flies, with flies. I don't know. I had written something and then I didn't look at it at all, and I just started recording, and I recorded one and I was like, no, this is not going anywhere good. And so then I recorded another one that was much shorter and just very honest and open. So it's very in process. It feels scary for me to release it. But ultimately, the bigger goal that I had for myself with this podcast, beyond, roughly doing 2 episodes per month, which is just sort of like a mile marker, I guess, and doesn't really matter all that much. But the bigger goal that I had for the whole reason for doing the podcast was that I always wanted to be authentic and real with you guys. So this is where I am right now, not feeling inspired to do this. I'm trying out a new business model, and at times it's a challenge, but I have a feeling that it's going to pay off big time. So hopefully as I engage with it more and more, I'll clarify my thoughts around it, and I'll be able to update you all down the line. So if this podcast feels very unfinished and very sort of like, ooh, and it's out there, but I don't quite know what to make of it, Amy, that's because that's exactly what it is. It's being recorded right in the red hot heat of the mess of me testing out a new way of doing things. And I hope that you still find value in it and that you enjoy it. So without any further ado, here we go. Welcome to the Aligned Actor podcast. I'm Amy Schlurb, and I am an actor and a student of conscious creation, looking to learn, grow, and share my experiences with you so that together we can master our mindsets and manifest the careers of our dreams. Let's play. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This episode has been a little frustrating to try to do, and so therefore it may not actually be a traditional episode because I don't feel inspired to actually do a podcast. And my whole point in this episode was to talk about how you shouldn't do things that you aren't inspired to do, and how I'm having a hard time with that because there's that prevailing sort of actor culture of actor hustle. And we always got to be working hard. There's always something we can be doing for our career and things like that. And I've been trying really hard to just sort of let that go and not subscribe to that idea and really focus more in on the conscious creation idea and the LOA idea of taking inspired action, getting aligned with what it is that I want, and then only taking action that feels inspired from that place. And I've been having a hard time with this recently because I still have that actor hustle mindset. I always got to be doing something, always got to be taking action, always got to be putting my career forward and all of that kind of stuff. And so that's been hard to reconcile, or challenging, let's say. So this is kind of more of just an update on the fact that this is what I'm trying to do. And I think it's working so far, because as soon as I started to do it and I was like, I'm letting go of the hustle, I'm not, going to just take actions out of fear that people are going to forget me, like sending postcards because I'm afraid somebody's going to forget me. So I got to send postcards, or I should be posting to social media all the time because then, I'm staying relevant and I'm staying in the game and all of that kind of stuff. It's like, no, I'm only going to do it when I feel inspired to do it. It's going to look better in terms of being a social media post or being a postcard or whatever. However I reach out is going to be more authentic, be more me if I'm waiting until I actually want to do it and not just doing it because like, oh, I should do this. So that's what I've been doing. And the side effect that's been really beneficial and really great is that I actually have then started getting more inspired ideas. So like I came up with this really fun idea for a short that I want to do with some people. And that was really fun. And that just sort of came out of nowhere. Like it just all came together really smoothly and really simply and really easily. And I was like, oh, okay. So that I want to do. And I definitely want to do that. And I'm going to do that. As opposed to sitting there being like, well, I got to come up with something to write a postcard about because I'm afraid people are going to forget me and I got to stay on people's radar. And that feeling kind of really forced and really uninspired, that I was like, no, that's not what I want to do right now. And if you can hear my cat trying to use the litter box in the background, I apologize for that. Maybe I'll cut that. I don't know. So this is kind of just a little short update about why I haven't done a podcast in a little bit. Because the only reason that I decided to record today was because we're over halfway through October. And so I'm, off of my schedule of 2 podcasts a month. So I was like, well, I should record a podcast. But that's not the right time to record a podcast. So, because now I'm trying to only do things that I feel inspired and want to do. And when I have a good idea and I want to put it out there. So, yeah, this is maybe not my best podcast, but I think it's an important idea and an important thing to try to embrace. And I didn't want to leave anybody hanging. If you're waiting on a podcast from me, I wanted to kind of let you know what's been going on. And yeah, so that's why this really isn't a podcast. It's because I'm trying to only do things that I really want to do, especially creatively. This podcast doesn't make me any money. This podcast doesn't, pick my child up from school, for example. It'd be really cool if a podcast could pick your child up from school. But yeah, that's why I haven't done one in a little bit. But I think this is a fun idea. I invite you to come and talk to me in the Facebook group. You can find that by going to facebook.com/groups/the Aligned Actor Community. And yeah, we can talk about this. We can talk about the idea of actor hustle, what that means versus taking inspired action and what that means. And I think also another idea I've been kind of figuring out as I've been doing this is that, actor hustle, when we watch from the outside people who are hustling, quote unquote, it looks like, oh, they're doing a lot of hard work and they're really like pounding the pavement and they're really like nose to the grindstone and all of that kind of stuff. But actually, while they may be doing a lot of quote unquote hard work, to them, it might not actually be hard work. It might be really easy. It might be really fun. It might entirely be inspired action to them. Because there are times when, I'm, writing Schlerbits or filming a ton of Schlerbits, or there was a month last year where I filmed 16 pieces of original content. And to the outside eye, that probably looks like, oh, Amy's working really hard. Amy's doing a lot of things. Amy's being really productive. But from inside, I was just doing what felt good and doing fun things. So I guess one of my takeaways is to not Not, look at how other people are doing things and assume that like, oh, they're working really hard and therefore I'm not working really hard. Like when I see them working really hard, like I feel bad about myself. I should be working really hard. I should be working as hard as they are. Well, they may not be actually working that hard. They may only be doing what they find joyful and what they are really truly enjoying. And that's what we all should be doing, is just doing the things that we find enjoyable for our career, because I think that's how we really get what we want out of this whole deal. And those are the actions that I think are going to take us the farthest, because if you're taking actions that feel icky or that you're like, I don't understand the point of this, like, why am I even bothering? That's not going to get you anywhere good, guys. I think my cat is playing in a box. I'm not sure. So anyway, yeah, inspired action versus actor hustle. I'm still wrapping my brain around it, and hopefully I'll have more thoughts. Maybe this will be more of like a 2-parter for October as I check back in as I continue to do this. And yeah, so that's what's been going on. I hope you enjoyed this non-podcasty podcast. Have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. If you feel inspired to do so, please subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast with your actor pals so that more people can enjoy the good vibes. Also, be sure to join the Aligned Actor community on Facebook by going to facebook.com/groups/the Aligned Actor community. That's the place where this podcast gets interactive. It's a pretty fun party. You're going to want to get in on it. Until next time, remember, you are an amazing actor and you are creating the career of your dreams. Congrats!